Hello, hello. This is Leo Babauta of Zen Habits, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about my best tips for feeling more alive during the day, during your life. And the reason I'm recording this, the reason why I chose this topic is because what I realized is there's a lot of days that just kind of blend together for me. I go through my day, I do the same things over and over. I, do what I'm supposed to do. I do my obligations. And as I do that, really like everything just kind of starts to be a little more colorless, a little more dull and numbed and gray. And this isn't always how my life is, but sometimes it can be. And I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling very alive right now. We kind of do our obligations. We do what we're supposed to do. We do our comforts. We have our ways of numbing out or distracting ourselves. We kind of, get into this kind of groove, which is cool, but it doesn't feel very alive. So I've been experimenting with that. Once I realized, oh, actually my days are kind of blending together and I'm not feeling really like any kind of like energetic kind of way of living, I started experimenting and trying to figure out what makes me feel more alive. And as I did so, I realized these are things that I think would help anybody. So I'm going to share these tips with you. These are not necessarily tips, they're practices. So you might just take one of these practices and then apply it during your day for a week or two, maybe even a month for just one of these practices. If you took 7 months, a year to actually put these practices into practice, you will change your entire life and you will definitely feel more alive. Now, one thing I will say is I'm not addressing in this clinical depression. If you have clinical depression, definitely see a psychiatrist. Medication often helps. Therapy helps tremendously. But this video is not going to be able to tackle that. I do think if you have depression of some kind, clinical down to really mild, like this can help. But if you definitely have a clinical depression or if you think you have signs of that, then I would encourage you to get treatment, get some therapy. And these tips can work in conjunction with treatment and therapy, but of course they're not meant to address clinical depression. So I just want to make sure I get that out of the way. But, sometimes we can be mildly depressed and these kinds of things can really help. Yeah, therapy still helps in conjunction with these practices. Okay, first practice is to face fear every single day, or as many days as you can. So if we are shrinking from our lives because we don't want to do the things that scare us, we start to go to our comfort zones and our lives start to shrink down. So I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to do hard things. I don't want to do things that make me feel uncomfortable. That's totally fine, some of the time. But some of the time we want to be actually turning towards the fears and actually doing something that scares us a little bit. Now, do I mean, like if you're afraid of heights, do I mean jump, bungee jump or skydive? No, climb a few stairs. You know what I mean? Like, don't go to the most intense version of your fear. Go to the one that puts you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but isn't super intense. So we're talking about a 4 to a 6 in terms of intensity. Even a 3 is fine, but we don't need to be at an 8, 9, or a 10. 7 is totally okay in terms of how strong is the fear. If you can face 7 sometimes, as long as it's not draining you. But every day, I encourage you to face something. So look at what you're like, okay, what's a bit scary for me today? It puts me out of my comfort zone, but that I think I might be able to face. What you want to do is like breathe, soothe your nervous system, and then commit yourself to taking a very small step. So, if you wanted to write a book, for example, just to take a random example, it's like, okay, every single day, I'm going to work on that book. And even if I write one sentence, even if I just open up the document and read through what I've written, even if I just, try and write random thoughts on the book or just like do anything, I'm actually facing the fear that might come up for me around writing a book. So, so that's the first tip. Second tip is to feel your emotions. Feeling our emotions is something that can be, we often don't want to. We train ourselves to not feel emotions. So if I'm feeling sad, I don't want to think about it. Distract myself, numb myself. Whatever ways that you have of numbing yourself, shopping, drinking, smoking, whatever you smoke, taking any kind of drugs, TV, online games, online, videos, whatever it is that we do to numb ourselves, food. These are ways to numb ourselves from our emotions. I don't want to feel sad. Well, what if you just let yourself feel sad for a little bit? Just open yourself to actually feeling sad. Let yourself get in touch with your sadness or your grief or your anger or your frustration or your disappointment. What if you could feel these things and it didn't have to be a big deal? And the way you do that is you train yourself just a little bit at a time, just like facing fears. Actually, fear is an emotion, but we want to feel it just a little bit. Again, it could be 10 seconds. It doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10 intensity, but a little bit. And if you do that, you are going to be facing these emotions and letting yourself feel them and training yourself to be able to feel them more and more. Now, imagine you get to the point where you can be like, oh, I'm freaking sad right now. Let me just cry or let myself just feel the pain of that sadness for a couple of minutes. And then it's gone. It's gone through your body. It's been expressed in some way. You don't have to mope around all day or like cry to every single person you meet. You just let yourself on your own feel some sadness or with a therapist, with a friend who's willing to be there for you. Now, but a lot of times we might do it on our own. Same thing with anger. What if you're allowed to be angry? You just don't spew that anger on someone else. You go responsibly on your own and let yourself rage for a little bit. And then you get it out of your system, and then you can come and talk to the person in a reasonable way that's not hurtful to them. So let yourself feel your emotions more and more. And as we do this, we're going to be in touch with a wider range of our internal experience. We're going to be more in touch with our hearts, and we're not going to shrink away from life, from the full range of the human experience. And what happens is we start to have imagine if your days were all gray, all of a sudden there's a rainbow to it. Anger, sadness, but also laughter and love and joy and play. We don't just kind of narrow the range of our experience. We actually feel the full range of it. If we don't let ourselves feel sadness, we can't feel joy. We don't feel anger, we can't feel, laughter and play. We have to feel all of it. Love, open-hearted love and anger are like, if we shut down one, we're shutting the other as well. We're shutting our hearts down. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Feel your emotions every single day. Number 3, open to wonder, appreciation, gratitude. So these are all variations on the same thing, but gratitude is just like, it might feel really trite, but what am I grateful for today? In this difficult, dark time that I'm going through, what am I grateful for? What do I appreciate about this person who's in front of me? Even though I might feel something towards them, maybe I can feel some appreciation as well. There can be a range. And then as I do that, I can appreciate more about my life, about all of life, about the gift of being alive in this moment. And as I do so, I might start to feel more wonder and awe. And that's actually what we're trying to do, is feel the wonder and awe of being alive. This makes us feel more alive. It lifts up our hearts. So that's number 3. Number 4, move your freaking body and turn up the energy of your life. If you are just trying to not use a lot of energy, conserve your energy because you feel tired or whatever, get out of that. Even just a little bit every day. Move, dance, get outside, go for a walk or a run, do some kind of sport, exercise, anything. But not just in terms of movement, but turn up the energy of your body, like play, dance, sing, yell, when it's appropriate. Of course, do all of these things when it's appropriate, but what if you get to like have more energy? And as you expend more energy, it will move energy through you and you'll have more energy. Now you'll get tired, of course, but we don't want to be afraid of being tired. Let yourself get tired. Go to bed, exhausted, and then wake up in the morning rested, and then do it all over again. And as you do this, actually, there will be a more throughput of energy. We try and conserve energy by not using it, but that actually just shrinks us down. So use more energy. Movement is one, but just turn up your life. Have more energy. Okay, that would be number 4. Let's see. I'm going to stop with that. I'm going to write a blog post with a few more ideas, but I think these 4 practices, you could do a month of each one, and you will actually feel more and more alive throughout the day. You won't just be doing what's, told, what you're supposed to do, what you should do, your obligations, your burdens, getting through the day, but you're actually going to be doing things that are more and more meaningful to you. And in fact, let me just share a couple more quick ones for you. Do something that, feels like on purpose, that feels meaningful. Something that's like, ooh, it really like moves my heart. So you're going to do stuff that isn't because you should, but because you want to. So understand what's meaningful about this activity that you're doing so that you can feel more meaning and that you're doing it because your heart wants to. And that would actually be the other tip that I was going to share is let your heart lead you sometimes. Sometimes we're led by the brain or the fears or what we should do. But what if you could just let yourself be led through your heart? Okay, that's what I've got for you. I am Leo Babauta of Zen Habits. If you liked this video, actually like it on the YouTube. It helps others find it. If you do that, leave a comment about what helped you. Maybe you have other tips that I didn't share. Maybe you have questions or struggles. Put them in the comments. I love, 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 love comments. And then subscribe. I have actually a goal to reach 10,000 subscribers. I think as I record this, I'm at 7,500. Let's hit 10,000. Subscribe, share it with other people, help me build this community, and I will continue to make this kind of content. Thanks, everybody. I will talk to you later.